Uh-huh. Looks like the GWR took over today for this entry. More specifically, Duck is the meaning of everything Great Western. He holds his heritage in very high regard, and uses it to guide him through his own regular routines. And by that, he made Top Hat's railway run like a well-oiled engine. And nope, I'm not taking that pun back either.
Trucks and coaches behaved well. The passengers even stopped grumbling.
The downside to his meticulous nature was that he was notoriously known for talking about everything Great Western and nothing else. This, of course, got the other engines annoyed. And when I say other engines, in quotations, guess who I mean? Yeah, James, Henry, and Gordon. The only 3 drama queens of the steam team. I'm not saying they shouldn't grumble over Duck's monotonous lecturing, but it's the fact that none of the other engines seem to care. It's always, 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 always these 3 flat stacks.
There are 2 ways of doing things, Duck told them. The Great Western way or the wrong way. I'm Great Western and don't we know it's straight wrong?
Well, I can't help you guys there. You could have dealt with cheeky Percy, but no, you can't take him. So now you have another tank engine, and instead of teasing you guys, he does the work and instead tells you how to do your jobs better. My, how the turntables have swung around on this backstory. Things would change, though, when a newbie came to the lot.
He purred smoothly towards them. The Fat Controller introduced him. Here is Diesel.
This alleged visitor was a diesel engine by the name of just Diesel, something that he would be mocked for in several parodies later on by other Thomas fans. As to why he has a generic name while everyone else doesn't? Because he's the original, man. So, don't be hatin'. It also turns out that Diesel was the dark block whizzing by in the background as Percy was being hoisted out of the quay in the episode before. For Diesel, it was his first time in the yard, although this is clearly false in the factual statement I just made. Top Hat thought of giving him a test run on Sodor. Duck was already leery on what was going on, though.
Good morning, purred Diesel in an oily voice. Pleased to meet you, Duck. Is that James and Henry and Gordon, too? I am delighted to meet such famous engines.
Man, check out that motif for Diesel. It literally matches everything about him in those simple keystrokes. The tone sounds sophisticated and calculating in all the wrong ways, in the best way possible, if that makes any sense. Let's say the tune itself is aware of how sly it is, but nobody else should. And that was exactly Diesel's plan, because not long after Duck and Diesel left to take care of work, the steam drama queens and even Percy were so caught up in Diesel's flattery, they took him as a breath of fresh air compared to Duck.
The silly engines were flattered. He has very good manners, they murmured. We are pleased to have him in our yard.
Shocking, I know. However, Duck wasn't buying any of it. He is, after all, an engine that can smell bullcrap when he sees it, except this wasn't bullcrap. This was Diesel's noxious gas. Top Hat's initial first bit of order to Duck was to teach Diesel what to do. But Diesel felt he didn't need to be taught anything because, according to him, Diesels were the higher end of locomotives.
Your worthy Sir Topham Hatt thinks I need to learn. He is mistaken. We know everything. We come to a yard and improve it. We are revolutionary.
Ah, yes. The man who runs the whole railway is the one who's mistaken? If anything, the thing he is mistaken on is bringing you on board. Duck's face says it all, too. It's certainly not the wrinkled frowner Gordon or James could ever make, but it sure very well says, you are not on my good list today. And being that Diesel felt so confident in himself, Duck went right along with it and let him take care of whatever he so pleased. And that was the best thing Duck could have ever done. Diesel is already adopting the Gordonism trait before he's ever done anything. My lord, this will end interestingly, and so it did. When Duck returned, he came back seeing something he never thought imaginable. Diesel was trying to move a set of empty trucks that refused to move from their siding. And no matter what Diesel did, nothing worked. In fact, at times Diesel made things worse by jerking the trucks right off the track.
Duck watched with interest. Diesel lost patience. Grr, grr. We can't, we won't. Some of their brakes snapped, and the gear jammed in the sleepers. Grr, grr.
Obviously, Duck couldn't help but laugh. Which I couldn't help but notice, his face mask looks like Gene Wilder or Eric Idle for some reason. In the end, Diesel gave up and had to clean up his own mess. Duck didn't help though, because it felt like it suited Diesel for having such a strong hubris. Adding to the buffoonery, the Troublesome Trucks decided to sing a song about Diesel in all of their Season 2 glorified entrance.
Trucks are waiting in the yard, tackling them with Diesel. Show the world what I can do, gaily boasts the Diesel. In and out he creeps about like a big black weasel. When he pulls the wrong trucks out, pop goes the Diesel. Arrow! Growled Diesel and scuttled away to sulk in the shed.
Boy, that's a direct kick to the pride, I tell you. But serves him right for being that way to begin with. There's a lot to talk about here. This episode in particular was one I remember well for a number of reasons. An apparent one is that this is the introduction to Diesel, but more significantly, the inclusion of antagonistic characters. Up until this stage in the show, every major character that the audience met were all steam engines, and ones that had their mind in the right place, more often than not. Diesel is not any of that. His design says it all, and his vision is quite clear. Diesels are better in every way, and don't require the help of steam engines. Being that he's also painted completely black with no other doodads, stripes, or numbers says a lot too. He's the quintessential Diesel, smug, dark, and nothing like a steam engine. When it comes to writing, it's amazing how the parallel is made on how Diesel represents the change in time when diesel engines actually started to become a thing in modern railways. Diesel was lucky though he was able to brown nose his way past the 3 drama queens on Sodor. Normally nothing gets by them when it comes to annoyances, and Diesel should have been the biggest noticeable stain in the yard. Literally and figuratively. But you know, their beef is with Duck. Okay, that sounded a little weird. Beef is with Duck. Anyway, Duck can thankfully detect Diesel's bogus nature and can see right through it. Knowing a Diesel's advantage can be scary because unlike Birdie the Bus or Terrence the Tractor, they all have their place. Here we are talking about another engine, who has the chance at being a long-lasting alternative. That's an extremely invasive attribute, and that's no laughing matter. Seeing that Diesel wasn't going to accept Duck's help from the beginning, it was only correct of him to let Diesel's own premeditated Gordonism fall on his face. And what a mess he makes. Holy handbrakes. There's not too much to discuss when it comes to visuals here. What is cool though is having the camera follow Duck and Diesel out of the Sodor Shipping Company building. As for music, there are a couple things here to recognize. Duck's theme is an important one to remember, seeing that he is a main focus right now. It also assists the viewer in hearing the contrast in tone when listening to Diesel's theme. This really pushes the stark distinction between what diesel and steam engines stand for. Diesel's theme, aside from being what I said it sounded like before, has quite a chord progression. Then there's the trill of flute-like notes that occur later on that show he's much more than just a smooth cruising engineering upgrade. And as much as I have criticized time and time again on how the trucks never wanted to move, the song Pop Goes the Diesel, instead of Weasel, was too good. Not only do we finally see all their crazy little distorted faces, but we hear them as well. Those are the chatterboxes I know. Next episode is Dirty Work. Thanks for watching.